Welcome back to Inspiring Builds. I'm Dan, and in this video I'm going to show you how to wire up fog lights on an 8th gen Honda Civic. After watching this video, you will know how to diagnose issues, install and wire up your own fog lights. This Civic has a wire harness already installed, but the fog lights do not work, so I purchased this harness in case it was needed. Harnesses may look intimidating, but it's simple. These two wires go to the fog lights, with the long one going to the passenger, as everything will be installed close to the battery located on the driver's side. Next, you have a white connector that the relay plugs into, a fuse, a black wire that would be grounded to the frame, and a red wire going to the positive battery terminal. Lastly, it splits to one last wire that is plug and play that runs into the interior of the car and plugs directly into your fog light button. This Civic uses H11 fog light bulbs, therefore this is an H11 fog light wire harness, and I'll provide the links to everything in the description below. If you're new here, please make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on those bell notifications so you don't miss any of these tutorials. Before doing any electric work, disconnect the battery. I jack up the car first as I want to start the diagnostic work. I recommend jack stands as well if getting under the car, along with wheel chocks. The seller stated the fog lights had a fuse issue, but to start, the passenger fog light is not plugged in and the wire harness could not be located. The driver's side was not plugged in either, but the harness was able to be located. I confirmed it was for the fog lights as it's an H11 bulb. The bulb was broke in the socket. Be careful removing it, twisting counterclockwise. I replaced the bulb before checking the fuse and noticed the wire harness did not appear to be for H11 bulbs, as the side should be long enough to fasten on the bulbs. When checking the fuses, the fuse number 6 inside the car was missing, which goes to the fog lights. If you don't have fuses, these cars have some extras inside the fuse box cover under the hood. Click the two tabs to remove the cover, and you can use a pair of needle nose pliers carefully if you don't have a fuse puller. The fog lights needed a 20 amp fuse. After replacing the fuse, bulbs, and reconnecting the battery for testing, unfortunately, it still did not fix the issue. I unplugged the harness from the bulb and traced it under the hood that comes up from the driver headlight assembly. I will zoom in a bit so it's easier to see the routing of the harness. Feed the harness up through the hole a good amount so it's easy to locate after the battery is removed. I found that the harness was split, which explained why I could not find a wire harness for the passenger side fog light assembly. I pulled up the original fog lamp harness as I attempted to fix the fog lights by only replacing the fog lamp wiring portion of the harness and not the full harness. I grabbed the new wire harness and cut the fog light section off of the harness as shown. Stripped the positive and negative wires on the new harness and part of the wire harness that was split on the original harness. Slide on heat shrink tubing and wire the red to the red and black to the black. I use a heat gun, but before that I tested to see if it worked. Unfortunately, that option did not, and I decided to replace the full wire harness. With replacing the full wire harness, I put the new harness back together and installed the battery to test the lights using the new wire harness. I temporarily put the red positive wire on the positive battery terminal and grounded the black wire to the frame. I plugged in one fog lamp bulb, snapped the relay into the white connector, the fuse was already inserted, and I snapped in the green harness to the fog light on-off switch that goes inside the car. With the new harness, we have success, as pushing the on button turned the fog light bulb on, and the fog light button lights up green as it should when it turns on, and does not illuminate when turned off. After confirming this new harness will work, I removed the battery and routed the fog lamp harness as shown. Once you push through some, you can get under the car and carefully pull and guide the rest through. Install the driver fog light bulb first, getting the bulb in the socket and securing it by turning it clockwise, and lastly, plug in the short wire harness. It will be obvious which one goes to the passenger side as it's long and goes the full width of the car as shown here. Fog lamps themselves are super easy to put in as they just screw in, but you need to remove the bumper. If removing the bumper, remove the clips using the same process on top and bottom, as well as there is a screw to remove on each side of the bumper. I left the bumper on with just doing the wiring. I only removed these clips as shown, which is super easy using a trim clip removal tool. Pull the splash shield back and run the wire in the channel under the radiator. Once installed nice and tight, zip tie it off. This kit did come with cheap white zip ties. I prefer using black outdoor zip ties for strength. Plug in the harness and zip tie the excess wire. Lastly, cut off the ends of the zip ties for a clean install. Here is a better view of the trim clip removal tool. Remove the two clips on the driver's side panel, remove the fuse box cover, and remove the side panel. Once removed, I had good visibility to the original harness and uninstalled the rest of the original harness at this time. Inside the car, remove the panels as shown. Note there is one screw shown here on the panel that goes over the instrument cluster. Take your time and don't over muscle it as they're clipped in and you want to avoid breaking any clips. Push in the tabs and remove all 3 wire harness connectors as I did with the green one for the original fog light harness. The only challenging time during the install was finding a good access hole to run the new harness to the interior. I'll make it as easy as possible here as you want to remove the grommet on top as shown. I pulled it out easily using needle nose pliers so we can route the new harness to inside the car. Run the wire by the driver front fender and we will see it in a minute to be able to pull it through. I use the same trim clip removal tool to remove the clips on the inside, middle, and sides of the front driver fender wheel well. Pull the inner fender well liner down to get access to our fog light wire button. Route the wire as shown and it's a tight fit, but insert the connector by filling for the access hole and taking your time. Then go inside the car and pull the wire the rest of the way through. The assembly for the interior panels is reverse of removal. Push in the harness connectors and fog light button as shown. With this new harness, it's the perfect amount of length. Fasten in the top trim and then the bottom, ensuring both pieces have all clips fastened and are flush. We're now in the home stretch. Keep the red wire, black wire, relay, and fuse all together as they will be installed close to the battery. Plug in the relay to the white connector. Put the red wire under the positive battery terminal bolt. Zip tie the wires, relay, and fuse together as shown. Ground the black wire to the frame of the car and put the battery back in. I bought new halogen bulbs originally and will do a comparison for you to these new yellow LED bulbs. Here is showing the fog lights with the halogen bulbs. With the fog light assembly being yellow, I did not like the look or think they were yellow enough. For just a couple bucks more, I purchased the yellow LED bulbs and was not only impressed with how much better they looked with them being yellow, but also how much brighter they were. I really appreciate you watching. If you like this video, I have another one queued up for you in the corner that you'd probably like as well. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Like, comment, share, and hit that notification bell so you can get notified when I release new videos.